School graduation ceremony. We're here this afternoon to celebrate these young adults before me who have both given and received so much from this wonderful community. It has been my pleasure and privilege to know them and work with them during their time in high school. Before we go any further, I'd like to take a few moments to say thank you to those who have helped the graduates along the way. MDI High School enjoys unparalleled support from our wonderful local community. Our students have the unique opportunity to expand their learning beyond the school walls. This is possible because of partnerships with the Jackson Laboratory and MDI Biolab, Acadia National Park, College of the Atlantic, and more. Additionally, many of our graduates get a boost in paying for college expenses due to incredibly generous scholarship donations, totaling nearly $400,000 this year. We could not achieve what we do without the support of our community. I speak now to the families of our students, particularly of those who are graduating today. You have raised amazing young men and women, and that did not happen by accident. Thank you for all the love, patience, and time you have given them. Thank you also for trusting us to guide them through their high school years. MDI High School is blessed with a tremendous faculty and staff who give endlessly of their passion, energy, and wisdom. No school, whatever traits it may have, can be successful without top-quality educators coming to work every day. We are all indebted to these dedicated professionals. In particular, I'd like to recognize Mary Coro, Wendy Littlefield, Mary Wallace, and Jenny Rogers, Bo Green, as well as the entire maintenance and kitchen staff for their organizational support in preparing for the graduation festivities. They do their jobs well so that everything runs smoothly. Thank you. This year, we were fortunate to be joined by 5 new faculty members. These individuals have each put their own mark on MDI High School and have made it a better place for students. The new faculty at MDI High School are Michael Gump, Steve Kablinski, Hannah Padergal, Ruth Poland, and Kelly Sanborn. 2017 will see us bid farewell to 5 valued members of our faculty and staff. We wish them well in their future endeavors. Let's say thank you to Beth Dilley, Lori Feynman, Heather Ford, Bruce Munger, and Judy Richards. And finally, without engaged, curious, motivated, and talented students, what would a school be? The students that attend MDI High School are unquestionably its greatest asset. The class of 2017 embodies the qualities of hard work, dedication, compassion, and perseverance. The class of 2017 are also an extremely talented group in the classroom, on the athletic field, and as visual and performing artists. This year, for the first time, we recognize outstanding academic achievement through a Latin honor system. As evidenced by the number of graduates wearing bronze, silver, and gold cords today, you can see how many of them have achieved cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude status. Congratulations to the class of 2017 for a job well done. I would now like to introduce the 2 senior class officers who will welcome our speaker today. Sarah Soucek lives in Bar Harbor and is the daughter of Leo Soucek, Ann Rohde, and Ned Johnston. Sarah will be traveling to India next year as part of her gap year to live with a homestay family and to study comparative religion, among other things. She has deferred matriculation for 1 year at Bard College Berlin in Germany and plans to attend university there starting the fall of 2018. Lydia DaCorte is the daughter of John and Ellen DaCorte of Mount Desert. Lydia was born in Bar Harbor and has lived on the island ever since. She will attend Wheaton College in Massachusetts for business management and will be swimming there in the fall. Sarah and Lydia, take it away.
Hello everyone. We'd like to thank you so much for coming out this afternoon. It's hard to believe that we're at the end of a long 4 years. None of us could have made it this far without the support of this incredible community. The class of 2017 is honored to introduce Mr. Remy as this year's graduation speaker. When we were brainstorming ideas for who we wanted to speak at our graduation, a lot of names came to mind. Mr. Remy stood out, not only because of his jokes and his friendly demeanor, but because of his ability to show compassion in the most important and perhaps most difficult of times.
Mr. Remy is a friend to all and welcomes any new face, whether or not they play an instrument. The class of 2017 feels a special connection to Mr. Remy because our freshman year was his first year teaching at MDI. As we grew from freshmen to sophomores to juniors to seniors, he grew with us. Not only is Mr. Remy an incredible musician, but also an outstanding human being. He has a special way of making everyone feel important and valuable. He holds his students to high standards and sees the value and potential in everyone. He has a natural ability to impassion students about many different things, whether it's the study of AP music theory or cheering on the team during the final quarter of a home basketball game. Mr. Remy does everything with enthusiasm, grace, and joy. Please join us in welcoming our teacher, role model, and dear friend, Michael Remy.
Good afternoon. Thank you. What a privilege and an honor it is to be here with you today. Congratulations, class of 2017. How many of you have ever done a major assignment the night before? Raise them high. I wouldn't necessarily say that's what I did with regards to this speech. I've been brewing about it. I've been marinating. I've been chewing it over for weeks now, and really for 32 years now. It just turns out that it's so much easier to write a joke graduation speech compiled of all the things you shouldn't say. That's really fun. You know I love hypotheticals, those of you that know me. Things like, what if I just got up there and released a cage of exotic birds? What if I gave the most beautiful speech anyone has ever heard in a bear costume? It turns out they're $40 on Amazon.com. What if I flew in Joe Biden and my speech was just me introducing him? Wouldn't that be remarkable? Anyways, it might not be exactly true for every single one of you in this gym, but most of you have spent the last 13 years in school. At approximately 180 days a school year, that's 2,340 days. 56,160 hours. 3,360,000, okay, you get the point. It's a long time, and it's really quite impressive. And though for the most part it's required, I don't think we fully appreciate how big of a deal it is. Congratulations. Malcolm Gladwell, an incredible writer and thinker, suggests in his book Outliers that it takes 10,000 deliberate working hours to become a master at something. He makes this case by walking us through the early days of the Beatles, back when they were playing cruddy clubs to 2 or 3 people at a time, just to get in their hours. He talks about Tiger Woods playing a major tournament. He's in the lead. It's like the 3rd day of the tournament. The next guy's like 20 strokes back, and Tiger's out there for 3 or 4 hours at a time putting, saying he doesn't like the way the ball is rolling. It seems to me by the time we graduate high school, we should be masters of learning. But far too many choose to drop it as they walk through those doors for the very last time as a student. Now more than ever, this world so desperately needs you to remain a student, regardless of whether or not you have planned to attend college. For the last 13 years, you have been on the pursuit of a lifetime. And let me assure you that it's so much easier to maintain than drop it all and try to regather later in life. But it's also never too late. My grandmother at the age of 16 dropped out of school and climbed out of a window to marry my 21-year-old grandfather. They hopped the state line and lied about their age so they could get married. And by the time she was 24 years old, my grandma had 6 children under 8. Yeah. Forget it. In her 60s, once all the kids were out of the house, my grandma decided to get a job. She got bored at the bacon factory in our hometown. She worked at a conveyor belt, separating the good bacon from the bad bacon. But the problem was that my grandma is a different cut than most of us. When you grow up in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, with 9 kids, you're a whole other level of frugal. So the factory had these strict guidelines for what separated the good from the bad, but that didn't stop my grandma from pocketing bacon. Bacon that had fallen on the floor, bacon that had too much fat, bacon that was just a little too gray. I wouldn't be surprised if she had went out and bought a special jacket with extra pockets. 10 slices per pocket equals 80 slices, and my grandma just laughing like a mad woman in the bathroom at home. What ended up happening, sorry, I need a drink. What ended up happening was her boss brought her in and said, "Jeannie, have you been stealing bacon?" And my grandma sort of looked around with darty eyes and pulled a couple pieces out of her jacket and said, "It's perfectly good bacon." And they're like, "You're fired." Grandma left the bacon factory that day and went back and got her GED at like 66 years old. It's the happiest I've ever seen her. It's never, ever too late. Read books, maintain a library card, watch the news, or better yet, sometimes don't watch the news. Travel really far without a plan. Do things that make you a little uncomfortable. I find the older I get, the easier it is to hide inside and watch The Office in its entirety for the 21st time. Sometimes you need to unwind, but don't become unwound. Plop down on a park bench in a strange neighborhood and just sit still. Watch what everybody is up to. Why are they the way that they are? Write their biographies. Continue school outside of these walls. The world demands it. But I get why folks drop it. We are trained to be product-driven people, to get the A or the 4. To pass the class, to get the job done, to win the championship, to get married, to have children, to retire, and then what? What was the hurry? Life is not a product. You can't buy it at Rennie's. You will never make it. And that's one of the most beautiful things about being alive. Throughout this next chunk of your life, you'll receive a lot of pressure to make a declaration of purpose, to choose a major, to choose a profession, as if we were all destined to stand on a grand staircase somewhere in the Midwest in the middle of the winter with a sports coat on and say, "I, Michael Remy, I am a music teacher." And the crowd goes insane. Even once you make the declaration, it's not smooth sailing. Look around this room. There's not one person here that has it completely figured out. We're all swimming. I remember the day I decided to become a music teacher, I rushed down to the music wing to talk to my choir director and my band director, old men with white hair, very disgruntled, very grumpy, last year of their joint careers, and I said, "I want to be a music teacher," and neither one smiled. For the next 45 minutes, they talked me through all the reasons you shouldn't be a music teacher and ended by saying, "You seem sorry enough that you can't do anything else. We approve." I felt this deep joy. I mean, he's like, so we decided to go get lunch, and they walked ahead of me up the stairs, these two old men that I admire more than anybody in the world. And they're both wearing penny loafers without pennies. And the loafers kick off the back of their heels, and both of them, I kid you not, have holes in both of their socks. And I remember thinking, this is my life, and I love it. It's important to do work you love, but it's just as important to avoid defining yourself. You aren't a musician. You aren't a runner. You aren't a sailor or a doctor or a mom or a dad. You are human. You are so much more than a word, and don't ever close the door to all you continually become. You'll meet folks out there that do it. They define themselves. They say, "I'm going to be the best," and often at the expense of others. Don't do it. Life is not a product, because deep down we know what matters in this life is more than winning for ourselves. What really matters is helping others win too. The earth is a tiny pale dot dangling in infinite space. We are tinier than ants just scurrying around in dust. We'll all die, every one of us. And if that's not enough reason to do all the things you love and help others do the same, I don't know what is. Now, I'm not actually a scientist. I get this a lot. "Excuse me, sir, are you a scientist?" No, I am not. But everything that's ever happened has led to this very moment. It could be true that none of us would be here had a pterodactyl not pooped on a brontosaurus at some point in time. It's true. We can't possibly fathom the chain of events that led to this moment. But I urge you to think about it from time to time. Think about those noteworthy moments in history and how they led to this gym, in those gowns, with these people. Think about those times when you were a freshman and something started you down this path. A swish on the court. A project you really liked. The sound of a clarinet. Think about those times where you thought, I want to do that, and then you did that. We're all made up of that. We're tricky recipes with hard-to-find ingredients. And not only are those ingredients made up of the vast lineage of history, the pterodactyl poop, the mummies, the Titanic, Abe Lincoln, but perhaps more importantly, the people that helped us get where we are today. You see, I'm not Michael Remy. I'm Mrs. Brown, my 6th grade teacher, who loved her students more than any teacher I've ever met in my life. She had animals everywhere in her room, way too many animals. I'm pretty sure that she should have been put away for how many animals she had. She had this guinea pig named Penny that pooped on everything. Now, I'm not saying I do that, but I cared for these animals every day after school. She made predictions at graduation what we would all do. She kept in contact with us and kept tabs on us all up until the day she died. She made a huge difference in our life. I'm Carolyn Osborne, my education professor, that pulled me aside when I was thinking, I don't know if I can do this anymore in college. And she said, your writing is incredible. Come over to my house. Read these books. Meet me for coffee. Come play fiddle music with me and my husband. It was great. And now I'm Megan Howe. I'm Delaney Shepard. I'm Riley Swanson. We carry each other going forward. We are our friends. We are our family, our community, our beautiful island. So in that way, life is a little bit like a hamburger. Although it may look like a simple patty of beef, that beef might come from 7 or 8 different cows. In addition to this, I urge you to be thankful for what you have. Maintain an attitude for gratitude. Hashtag. So many people have helped you get to this point. Some of them are here. Some of them are far away. Some of them have passed on. All of us have special ones who have loved us into being who we are. And I'd love to take a moment out of my #1 hero's book, Mr. Rogers, and ask you to take along with me 10 seconds to think of those people who have helped you become who you are. Those who have cared so deeply about you and wanted what was best for you in life. 10 seconds of silence. I'll watch the time. Whomever you've been thinking about, how pleased they must know the difference you feel they've made. They're the kind of people we want to be. So to sum it up, never stop searching, exploring, wondering, loving, learning, and not just for yourself, but for the greater good of all. And never stop saying thank you and feeling thankful. Thank you for all that you've done for me and for all that you've done for our school. We're so very proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2017.